the crack, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I bought in May. From the thumbnail it probably looks a lot worse than it maybe is, because a lot of these are a bit cheaper than normal because I bought them off of eBay, or they were just cheap, and you know, I like cheap books. So I'm just going to keep this intro nice and short and just dive on in. The first three books that I have to show you guys are actually repurchases, and that was the Ink World trilogy in the hardback editions. Inkheart did not come with a dust jacket for whatever reason. They used a photo, you know, from Google, and it just looked like it had the dust jacket, and so I bought it. But you know what? I don't mind. I'm just happy that I have the hardback and it's in English. So we have Inkheart, Inkspell, and Inkdeath. Inkspell is actually the only one with a dust jacket. This is actually just hardback, pure and simple, just printed on the hardback, which is strange. Not a lot of books are like that. And who is that with the loud fucking engine? Rude. But if you didn't know, the Ink World trilogy is one of my favorite trilogies. It's actually what Americans call a middle grade series, and like if somebody told me when I was like 9 to 12 that these are books that I'd be reading, I'd have been like, huh, are you nuts? I would never have read a book this long when I was that age. Heck, even at this age, I'm a bit intimidated by books this size. I also got Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the first book that I've ever got by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This pairing, they are famous for the Illuminate files, which I have not read, but I will be getting to eventually. But this is their newest collaboration, and this is book 1. It's set in 2380, where the graduating class of the Aurora Academy are getting ready to do their first mission, and star pupil Ty is getting ready to put together the team of his dreams. But his arrogance kind of causes him to be left with the dregs, the ones that nobody wants to partner with, and like something goes wrong, and you know, they're not the heroes that you want, but they're the ones that you could find, and everything just happens from there. I'm going to go into this relatively blind because I'm very, very excited to read it. I'm also quite nervous to read it because like, I read Amy Kaufman's collaboration with Megan Spooner and On Earth, but I didn't really like that, so I'm hoping that a collaboration with Jay Kristoff is going to be better. I am still too intimidated to read anything by Jay Kristoff. I've been like getting all of his books. I have Nevernight, God's Grave, Lifelike. I'm too terrified to read them. I think I'm hyping it too much up in my head to read anything by him. But I will be getting to Aurora Rising in June because I'm just so excited for this, because it seems like everything that I kind of want. And you know me, I love anything set in space. I am a Stargate, Star Trek, Star Wars girl. Love anything set in space. I also have Finale by Stephanie Garber. This is the final book in the Caraval trilogy. How fitting that it's called Finale. I have no idea what happens in Finale. I have not even read any kind of synopsis about it. I'm going to go into blind. That's the thing when it comes to sequels. You just have to go into them blind, because you know, sometimes the dust jacket is a bit of a spoiler. I would have read it this month in May, but I was reserving it for all of the fangirly reads, and I'm so glad that I did, because the wrap up for this month is gonna be long. It's gonna be long. This is actually the Waterstones signed edition. It is the red spread edges, and the secret cover that I got is "The most magnificent things are worth living for." Just look at that. So shiny. And there's Stephanie's beautiful signature. I think I have Legendary signed as well. Caraval was not. The only issue that I have with this book is that it's red. It does not match. I love the Illumicrate. I think they are the ones that did the special edition that was like black and gold, and I was like, that would have suited a lot better than having it go from black and navy to red. Is that weird? I just felt like it was like such a strange color to jump to, considering the color scheme of the other books. Just a slight little issue, but nevertheless, so excited to read this. Speaking of books with red spread edges, I got this gorgeous 10th anniversary edition of The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I listened to the audiobook of this in April, and I loved it. Any of the editions that were out there were just ones that I just was not interested in buying, because like the text was either minuscule, or the paper was too thin, or just something. It just did not like entice me to buy it. Then I saw on Brittany the Bibliophiles channel that she had this edition, and I was like, I need that in my life. Found it on eBay, got it. It is absolutely stunning. This edition is this incredible spine, red sprayed edges. If you don't know what The Name of the Wind is about, it is about this guy called Kavoth, and he is telling his life story to this screever, and he is writing everything down, and he tells it over the course of 3 days. Day 1, he is telling his life in this book, from his youth in a traveling circus, traveling performers circle, and he tells all about the pivotal moments in his life up to when he's like a young adult. It is a beautiful book, both physically and in between the pages. It is stunning. I love it. I'm so glad I have this edition to show off and never ever read. I was in Poundland and I just like saw this book for £1, so I was just like, well, why not? And that is Inferno by Dan Brown. I haven't even read the Da Vinci Code or Angels and Demons or whatever the last one was before this one. So I pretty much like bought the 3rd, 4th, whatever book this is in the series without reading the rest of it, but it was a hardback edition for £1. Can't say no to that. It looks like this in the buff, and these are the end pages. How could I resist? How could I fecking resist? I could not. I'm excited to give this a shot, or maybe start with the Da Vinci Code. Who knows? Then my mum and I were in Tesco's and they were having a 2 for £8 offer. She had a book. I was kind of nosying at books and I just like saw this one that I might eventually get to, because sometimes I do like historical fiction. I rarely read it. I have to be in the right mood to read it. But I picked up The Six Tudor Wives by Alison Weir, and this one is on Jane Seymour, the Haunted Queen. This was the 3rd wife of Henry VIII. You know the way it goes: divorced by how to die, divorced by how to survived. She's the one that died. I'm not 100% certain why I actually just got this. It was probably because, you know, I have like a latent interest in Jane Seymour. The Tudor Queen, not the actress, even though I do adore the actress. I know that's not the same person. I've also heard Hayley in Bookland talk about Alison Weir as an author because she read a couple of her books before. I think she read the one about Elizabeth I as a child, you know, her youth and growing up and things like that. So I just thought I would give Alison Weir a shot. You know, weirdly, I'm thinking about this, and this is probably what should constitute as like a cruise read. You know, a lot of people I notice on cruises read like non-fiction books. A lot of them are reading like history books, maybe because we're going to like places like Greece and, you know, they're brushing up on their Greek history. Who knows? But they do read quite a lot of historical books, historical fiction, historical non-fiction. This technically should be the book that I should be bringing with me on the cruise, but I know probably not. And the last 5 books I have to show you are all fangirly related. Starting off with Star Trek The Next Generation, The Battle of Beta by Charlotte Douglas and Susan Kearney. This is a repurchase for me. I have this book somewhere, but I cannot find it for the life of me. I actually found a whole bunch of my Star Trek books in May, and it's in one of my reading vlogs. Fun fact, I did reading vlogs for the first time ever in the month of May. I did like fangirl reading vlogs. I might keep them up, I might not. But this one is about the Beta Z. It follows primarily Deanna Troi and how her home was invaded by the Dominion during the Dominion War. This is set 2 months after the events of Tears of the Prophets, which is the end of season 6 of Deep Space Nine, and several months before the events of Star Trek Insurrection, which was movie number 9. And it's pretty much what it says in the tin, the Battle of Beta Z, and how they end up liberating Beta Z from the Dominion occupation, and it follows Deanna. And I remember reading this when I was younger, thoroughly loved it, and I read it again in May. You'll have to check out my wrap up to see what I thought of it. And isn't this book ridiculously tiny? It's like barely the size of my face, whereas like other books are like, I have to hold them down here. They're like this height. It's so tiny. Repurchased this for a couple quid on eBay. So glad I did, because then I got to read it again. Speaking of other purchases from eBay that are like fangirly related, Star Trek Voyager, The Vision of the Future by Stephen Edward Poe. This is basically a behind the scenes book about Star Trek Voyager in its infancy. It goes from the inception of Voyager, how they built the sets, how they went about casting, how Geneviève Bujold quit after like a day and a half on the set of Voyager, and then how they ultimately cast Kate Mulgrew in the role of Captain Catherine Janeway. I absolutely adore anything behind the scenes of anything. I always watch behind the scenes featurettes on DVDs, on television shows, on everything. I just love looking at behind the scenes and how they do things, and how, you know, like the cameras are all set up, and what they're doing like offset, or what they're doing to set up a shot. I love things like that. I am very excited to get into this book and just let my fangirly heart just soar, because Star Trek Voyager is my favorite television show of all time. I also have Katharine Hepburn Rebel Chic. This is a series of essays about Katharine Hepburn's style. Just look at how stunning she was. Oh my gosh. Katharine Hepburn was known for her style because she wore, you know, very masculine clothing. She had very tailored trousers, very tailored outfits. And that's how her look became so iconic. So this book is all about her style and how they went about designing things for her, and who actually made these dresses for her. This is her look that she used in The Million Heiress on the West End, I think. It was a play anyway. And then this here is a colour photo of her dress from Stage Door. And it's a cream dress with this beautiful sash in the middle, this beautiful belt, and then that's just her wearing it here, because obviously all the movies were in black and white. And so I just needed this book in my life because I love her style. I love seeing everything in colour. Katharine Hepburn is one of my favourites. Like, everybody keeps like going, is it Catherine or Audrey that you like? Catherine. Easiest way to remember it, same initial as me. Next, I have my most anticipated book of 2019, and that is How to Forget by Kate Mulgrew. I have read this, I have annotated it for the first time I've annotated a book since university, and I graduated almost 9 years ago. Shit, I'm old. This is Kate Mulgrew's second memoir, and this is a daughter's memoir, because this is all about her relationship with her parents, her mother and father, and about their deaths. Her father from cancer after 3 weeks diagnosis, and her mother from 9 years of Alzheimer's. It is very hard hitting. I knew it was going to destroy me going into it, and it did destroy me. I've admired Kate Mulgrew for nearly 20 years, and just the way that she writes is something I've never seen before, and I highly recommend this book. Like, yes, it's about her parents, but it's also about her as well, like how she felt and how she felt towards her siblings, and how maybe she felt her siblings were towards her. She says it is very subjective. It's not autobiographical. The difference between an autobiography is that it's linear and it's almost kind of objective in a way, but her memoirs are memoirs because those are her memories and her feelings and the way that she remembered things. Like, somebody might have said, no, that's not how it went down, it was like this, but this is the way that she remembered it, and this is the way that she felt, and how she wanted to portray it. And I felt like after this, I felt it was like so brave of her to like tell complete strangers all of this. I am so glad that I have this. I'm actually getting a second copy. I've actually pre-ordered one from Waterstones because I got this through Book Depository. Because the UK wasn't going to be getting it for a while yet, I wanted to read it as soon as humanly possible, so I pre-ordered it from Book Depository so that it would arrive on the US release date. I did the same thing with Born with Teeth. I ordered it through Amazon.com because Amazon.co.uk kept pushing the release date back and back and back, and I was like, I am not waiting for that because this is Kate Mulgrew. Oh my gosh, I'm just so glad that I have got this book in my hands, and I'm going to have a second one. And I also have another edition of Born with Teeth coming my way.
Don't you already have 3 copies?
Yes, I do.
Do you really need another one?
Yes, I do. I'll tell you why. Because I had such an amazing time annotating How to Forget, I want to annotate Born with Teeth. I'm going to annotate this edition of Born with Teeth because this dust jacket has a bit of wear on it. There's like red stains all over it for some stupid reason, because like I never had anything near this book, and I'm thinking that whoever I lent it to damaged the dust jacket. So I'm going to annotate this one, and I'm going to have the other one that is going to hopefully arrive tomorrow be the pristine one. I'm showing this today because I'm pre-filming this. It is not the end of May when I'm pre-filming this because I'm going on holiday, so I thought I would get a few videos out of the way. So there you have it, guys. Those are all of the books that I got in May. Are any of these ones that you are intrigued to read? Let me know in the comments down below which one you think I should prioritize. Finale is definitely a priority, as well as Aurora Rising. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!